You're listening to the Mental Money Podcast, the show that shows you how to master your mind to maximize your money. This show is for people who love to watch their bank accounts grow while shifting their relationship to money. Without further ado, let's get these insider insights from today's leading expert. Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning, Natalie.
Hi, thank you again so much for coming on and speaking with us. This is the Credit Conversations podcast, and we mainly focus on informing consumers, educating them, and helping them meet their financial objectives. So, for
Okay.
those of us who don't know who you are, could you please introduce yourself and explain some of why we're speaking to you today appropriately?
Sure. So I always like to start with the hey, hey, hey. So my name is Tiffany Aliche, but I'm much better known as the Budgetnista. I am what I like to say America's favorite financial educator. Basically, I am here to teach you what you likely should have learned in school or at home about money, but likely did not. And so I'm here to fill in that gap. And I love talking about money, and I love that conversations are becoming normalized. So I'm excited to be on today.
Right, thank you. I read on your website, and this is going to be a read off. So, this is what your website says. It says, through her company, The Budgetnista, Tiffany has created a financial movement that has helped over 800,000 women worldwide collectively save more than $100 million, pay off over 75 million in debt, purchase homes, and transform the way they think about their finances.
Yep, numbers are a little higher now. We're like just over a million now, which is amazing.
Mm,
Saved even more money, paid off even more debt, bought homes, cars, paid for college, going on vacations. Honestly, I think that money is a tool, like a hammer is a tool to be used to help you live a richer life. It's not the goal itself.
mm-hmm.
And so that is my aim, and that's the purpose of my movement. So I've got an amazing audience. So those million women that I mentioned, we call ourselves dream catchers. We are the beehive of personal finance. We get
Mm-hmm.
information, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Financial formation.
I love it.
and we work together collectively. We have a Facebook group where we do a lot of our kind of like hanging out, but we also meet up in person. Like last night, there's a new movie called The Banker
Mm,
that's coming out, and The Banker is about two African American men who kind of helped to because there still is kind of, but there used to really be something called redlining where they wouldn't allow African American folks to live in certain neighborhoods, white neighborhoods. And so they were legally keeping people out of those neighborhoods. And these two men and some of the things that they did helped to start to break down that systematic racism through economic access.
mm,
And so last night, so Apple TV, who I guess is one of the owners or producers of the movie, they reached out to me and said we would love for you to host a pre-screening. And so I did. And so I invited 90 of my favorite Dreamcatcher friends. They
mm.
came out. We saw the movie. It was amazing. So things like that. That's what being a Dreamcatcher is all about. That it's how do we through your finances make your life better. It's not just on paper. It's not just on your computer. It's in person. It should permeate all aspects of your life.
Hmm. In my mind, I know that should be true and I know that is very possible, right? So speak to the person who doesn't believe that those are options for them in their lives.
It can be difficult if you are just being introduced to finance or if you are experiencing what I call financial trauma. And that is when so much has happened that you are drowning. And I've been there at one point, like about 10 years ago, I was $300,000 in debt. And so that was student loans, credit card debt, and a house. And so before I experienced my biggest financial trauma, things were going good. I was in my 20s. I bought a condo. I was a teacher. Life was good. I wasn't making a ton of money, but still, I was okay financially. The recession hit, and my school, because it was a nonprofit based school, they lost their funding and it closed 3 days before the new school year. So teachers understand because oftentimes in the summertime, you don't work as a teacher and you don't get paid. So here I was, no job, brand new condo, student loan debt, credit card debt. I had experienced also a credit card scam with a quote unquote air quotes friend of mine that left me $35,000 in credit card debt and nothing to show for it. So I had all of this debt and a condo, and I didn't know how I was going to honestly manage my way out of it. And I felt overwhelmed, and I thought, I kind of gave up. I was like, well, this is it. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
always going to be struggling financially. But that's just not true. That, what really happened and what helped significantly is I was telling my best friend Linda at the time all that I was going through. And she started laughing. And I'm like, what? What's so funny? She's like, girl, everybody's messed up financially. You were the only one of us that was semi okay. Welcome to the real world.
What?
And yes. And I was like, what? So basically what she was saying, because I had never had credit card debt before. I never experienced financial trauma. And I was
Mm-hmm.
29. And she basically was like, girl, everybody's living hard. And so I shared that to say that someone who was like, it's me, I'm struggling. You don't understand. I'm drowning. I am here to be your Linda and be like, girl, man, everybody struggling. Like honestly, I have talked to doctors, lawyers. I have talked to teachers, nail techs, NFL players. Financial struggle has nothing to do with your character.
Right.
That everyone at some point experiences typically some sort of financial trauma. And it's not about the challenge and the trauma. It's about having the tools and the resources to move beyond it. So it's like, you could beat yourself up, or you could be what I call a paper towel person. And a paper towel person is what I call my mom. So as a kid, if we spilled, I'm one of five girls. If I spilled juice or milk or whatever, my dad'd be like, "Oh my goodness, we're Nigerian. Oh my goodness, you're spilling milk. We don't have milk to waste," and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he'd be
Mm-hmm.
fussing, and here's my mother. She would just get up, get a paper towel, meaning she was solution
Oriented.
oriented and
Yeah.
focused. Because after my dad finished all that, oh my goodness, guess what he had to do anyway? Still get me a paper towel.
Right.
So it's like that if you are experiencing financial trauma, one, know and acknowledge that you are not alone, that there are people who are making way more. There are people who are making way less. There are people who are making exactly what you make that have the same number of kids or no kids or whatever it is that you're going through. There are literally hundreds of thousands, millions of people experiencing a similar circumstance to you. And better yet, many of them have already enacted the solutions and are on the other side, which means you can too. So are you going to fuss like my father and then finally get a paper towel 2 years from now? Or you just gonna get straight to the paper towel like my mama? I want you
Mm.
to be a paper towel person. Acknowledge you're not alone and then go get you a paper towel. And that's why we're here today to talk about some resources and some solutions.
Okay. What are the solutions?
I know you're enjoying the episode, but I wanted to quickly let you know about the book Converted, Uncover the Hidden Strategies You Need to Achieve Massive Credit Score Success. As you are on your financial journey, this book is designed to be the guide towards ensuring that your journey is as smooth as possible. Doesn't matter if you're clearing up your mindset or on the verge of having more money, credit is going to follow you forever. I bet you that you'll see. As you begin and continue to apply the resources mentioned in any given episode, credit will continue to come up, and we want you to get right. Go ahead and head to www.convertedcredit.com. That's www.convertedcredit.com. That's www.convertedcredit.com and get your copy today.
So step by step, I know it sounds corny because I'm the budget niece, but you have to start with a budget. Think about your budget like your financial checkup. That means you are going to create a money list. So a money list is a list of all of your expenses. So that's step one, list all of your expenses. Step two, how much do these expenses cost you a month? So I want you to think of things like not just groceries or bills. I also want you to think of grooming. I also want you to think of um like the kids. I also want you to think of eating out. So like traditional bills, but also other things as well when you think of your money list. So list all of your expenses, how much they cost you monthly. It's important that you see the number money in, money out within a month,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then step three is subtract your monthly expenses from your monthly take home.
Right.
And so that is a basic budget. I like to also call it a money list. And from there, you can see, where do I stand? Do I have money left over at the end of the month on paper, or do I not have money left over at the end of the month? If you don't have money left over at the end of the month, now you have a list of your expenses where I can make these changes. I can actually do my nails myself. Let me bring that down to zero. You know what? Cable, we don't need it. Hulu, you cute. Let me bring that down to $9 a month. Do you see? Like
Right.
that money list is the basis of like, it is your checkup. It's like going to the doctor and saying, I'm not feeling well. And so they do all the blood work and take your weight and everything else because they want to see in totality what is your body doing before telling you here are some solutions. So before I can say, what is your, I want to be, what is your money doing in full before I can say, you know what, you might need to cut off your cable. You know what, you might need to get another job. You need to know what does your budget say first.
Mm. I agree with you 100%, Tiffany. And I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I've seen clients experience this. And I personally, and just speaking from someone also in personal finance, I don't know how to help them get over the hurdle of one, not even wanting to sit down and do a budget. Like they're just afraid to face their finances. They are. And I get it because not only have I been there, but at the same time, like I know that if you just look, just take a peek, you'll be so surprised, and that it just opens up your mind to the options and possibilities. And that's what I heard you say. It's not a monster. It's not going to eat you. Nothing's going to happen. Just sit and look. Let's take a peek. Let's see what's going on.
And I think honestly that the one of the best ways to get over that hurt, because Natalie, honestly, to your point, it is scary. I'm not going to pretend like, oh, just do it. It's easy to say, but it is scary. And so something that I have seen help time and time again, quite honestly, is an accountability partner. Like get you a Linda, right? Meaning that is there someone in your life? They don't have to be Linda's not a financial expert. She was just a kind friend
Mm.
that helped me to alleviate the shame. So is there someone in your life that is a kind person, coworker, maybe your work mom, your work husband? We all have like, oh, that's not who that was, you know, like maybe your sister, your mom, your aunt, your father, maybe your bestie, maybe that person that, like sometimes like in New York, like when people commute regularly, you have a train friend. You're like, oh, every day on the train I see Marie, we sit in the same car,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's your train friend. Whoever, maybe it's like the next door neighbor that you're really cool with. And so get yourself a Linda, meaning someone that you can say, this is what my goals are. I would love if we can sit down and we can I just want to kind of show you. Because having somebody who holds you accountable and also someone who is not going to judge you is going to be so helpful. So that's what I suggest. So, and if you don't have a Linda, you're like, there's nobody that I know. That's why I started Dream Catchers, my beehive for personal finance, right? So on Facebook, we are Dream Catchers Live Richer with the Budgetnista. That's the name of the group. Dream Catchers Live Richer with the Budgetnista. There are 430,000 accountability partners. If you don't have nothing else, you can post there, and all of these people will swell up to say, I got you. What do you need? You see? So there's no excuse. So you have to do something, but you don't have to do all the things. You have to say, I am ready to want to make a change, but I'm scared. That's okay to say that, right? So then reaching out to have someone sit next to you as you open that bill. I do this for I just did with my sister. She's like, I said, well, give me a login. I logged in to take a look. I said, well, girl, it's not that bad. You see? So sometimes I get it. You're like, I don't want to see you log in. What does it say? Oh, okay, okay, okay. You know?
Mm.
And so so what does that but finding that person sometimes not super easy. So look in your immediate circle, and then if you can't find it, I promise you could find one in the Dream Catchers.
Was that one of the solutions as well?
No, absolutely. It's to it's getting an accountability partner,
Okay.
aka get you a Linda.
What other
And so
solutions do you have for us?
getting on financial track.
Yes.
So budgeting first, accountability partner definitely second. Automation is a new discipline.
Mm.
It will help to take the human element out of your finances. And so all aspects of your life should be automation. So here's the financial flow. It's first you automate your retirement. So before you get paid from your job, there should be some sort of pull out for retirement. First automation.
Mm.
Second automation, ideally some sort of direct deposit. Most people don't do checks and stuff anymore unless they're a really small company, but you want to definitely have a direct deposit landing in your bank accounts. That's second automation.
Okay.
Third automation, sending money to a separate checking account at that same bank called your bills account. Name it. You can name your account, name it your bills account. That's second automation. Third automation. And fourth automation is your bill money. Ideally, you're wanting your bill money to pay itself. So you put your money in your bills account and you've already told it on Monday pay this, on Tuesday pay this, on Wednesday pay this. That's the fourth automation. Let your bill money pay your bills. The
Mm-hmm.
key is not to having that bills account attached to your debit card. Only that deposit account. So two checking accounts, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right. So two checking accounts. One is for deposit slash spend, and the other one is for bills. So we're back to the deposit account because we did automation number 3 and 4 in the bills account. Right. Transfer the bills is automation 3. Automation 4 is paying the bills. Then we're back to the deposit account. So from here, we're doing fifth automation, which is some of that money goes into an online only savings account like Ally Bank,
Mm-hmm.
or you can go to this website, magnifymoney.com. You're going to look for these types of banks. FDIC insured, that means your money is insured up to $250,000. If the bank closes, you'll get your money back from the federal government. That at Magnify Money, that the bank is getting an A, because Magnify Money will rate the banks from an F, which is obviously terrible,
Mm-hmm.
to an A. So you're looking for an A bank. Also, you're going to look for a bank with the highest interest rate payout, but the lowest or no deposit requirement.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they're like, you have to, deposit $10,000, or you have to keep $10,000 here to get this interest rate.
Right.
You don't want that.
Right. Right.
And you don't want to have a checking account at your online only bank, just your savings account.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what did I say? That's the fifth automation, is to transfer from your deposit checking account at your regular bank to this online only bank account. That's fifth automation. And you might split. You might say, hey, I want to have more than one savings, and that's fine. So that automation, the fifth automation, could be split into to different savings accounts at your online only bank.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's left on your debit card is your spending money. That's the only thing that doesn't need to be automated, because that's on your debit card, that's left in your deposit account. You can spend that money on your cash expenses. So if you do that, if that's the financial flow. So if you do that, retirement, deposit account, bills account to paying bills, savings account, then you're left with the money that you have. You are free and able to spend without worry, because guess what? You save for retirement. Guess what? You save for savings. Guess what? Bills are paid. You see what I mean? So
Right.
that automation is like a critical component. If you do those three things, if you create a budget, if you get yourself an accountability partner, and you automate your financial flow, then you honestly, that's like 90% of what you need to do.
What do you think the other 10% is?
Is after you kind of get strong on that, then I want you to learn how to grow earn and grow wealth. So, like, because people always want, number one thing people ask me is, I want to invest. I'm like, do you have a budget? No. How's your debt looking? Crazy. What about that? So I'm like, I hesitate to be like, well, I'm not saying you shouldn't invest, because retirement is investing and that comes first.
Right.
But I'm talking about investing for wealth comes after you have control over the other aspects of your life. You should not be buying individual stocks on Robinhood app when you don't even know, like, do I have enough to pay this bill? You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Right.
So investing really is that, like, investing for wealth. Investing for retirement is the number one priority. Investing for wealth comes after all of these other things are under control. And so when I talk, even with that, that's an automation. So that fifth automation to savings, there could also be a sixth automation to a target date fund. That is an easy investment account that you can open at, like, there's companies like Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. They have something called a target date fund. And what I love about target date funds, it's more automation.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, you as an investor have to determine what percentage of my investment should be in stocks versus bonds. Stocks, higher risk but higher reward. Bonds, safe but, well, more conservative investments, so you don't yield as much money, but you have less of a risk of losing your money.
Mm-hmm.
So you're supposed to take your bonds in age, meaning, like, I am 40, so I should be 40% bonds, 60% stocks. My dad is 75. He should be 75% bonds, so 75% conservatively invested, 25% stocks, because he don't need to be out here wilding in the streets. Like, we're here now, bro. It's retirement, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it's a lot for people to manage because that's a balancing. Like, okay, every year you should be like 1% closer,
Right.
1% more in bonds. But with target date funds, you don't have to do that. You pick the target date of your retirement or
Mm.
just target date of when you want to pull out your money. And target date funds are invested not in individual stocks and bonds. They're invested largely in mutual funds, meaning a collection of stocks and bonds. So they they're less volatile. And so you pick a target date, and the target dates are usually every 5 years. So you could say, if you want to retire in 2060 or 2000, say 79 or something like that, right? I mean, so you might pick a target date fund that expires or comes to fruition in 2008. So you have to pick, the closest of the 5 years that's the closest to you.
Right.
And every year it will rebalance. It will get more. It will sell off more of your stock mutual funds and buy more of your bond mutual funds. Because the closer you get to that target date, the more conservative your investments become automatically.
That's
That's a
amazing.
great place to start. Accountability partner, financial flow, and then intentional investing. Because even with the automation, that's also the same for paying down debt. I like the snowball method, but there's also a method called the avalanche method. The snowball method is just when you pay off the debt with the lowest interest rate first,
Okay.
and not the lowest interest rate first, the lowest balance first. And the avalanche method, you're paying off the debt with the interest rate with the highest interest rate first, because that's the debt that's the most expensive. But
Mm.
you can choose which method is works best for you. I like the snowball method because it's easier to pay off smaller balances first and get your momentum going.
Got you.
Um, hmm And so I just think that those are the core tenets of getting yourself on financial track.
Got you. 1 million women have been served.
hmm
What is driving you? Because 1 million is not a small number,
No, it's not.
and it takes a lot to do this work. So, what is keeping you driven?
Two things. Service has always been this huge component in my life. I have seen my parents were born and raised in Nigeria, and I have seen like how much they have given back to like their to my family back home, their church, their community. It's like second nature. I didn't think about it. Like I can't tell you how many people lived with us when we were kids. Like service has just been embedded in my life. I don't think about it any other way. Like that's just what it looks like. Right. And then that really drives me. And something in me, I don't know if it's like an empath thing where it doesn't sit well to me when people are suffering,
Mm.
So even when I graduated college, I got an offer to like work at this in this corporate job, but I really wanted to be a teacher because I really wanted to help. I thought to myself, like, I want to make this world better. In what way can I participate? And so I wanted my life to mean more than just like punching a time clock and making money. Like I I I don't know, even at 20 something, I was like concerned with my legacy.
Right.
Like when I'm no longer here, are people's lives going to be better if I work here? No. But
Mm.
as a teacher, absolutely. Because if I teach Jaheim how to read, and then now, because he can read, he can go on. He does well in school. He goes to a college. Now he's a lawyer, and now he helps somebody. You see what I mean? Like
Right.
as a teacher, you live on forever through someone. Even if it's something as simple as I teach you how to tie your shoe,
Mm.
Sarah, and then you get to be grown and you show your daughter how to tie her shoe.
Right.
And
Right.
so now, 20 generations later, that shoe tying lesson, I'm living through you through that one shoe tying lesson.
Mm.
You and your family bloodline. And so there's something to be said for educating and serving. And then there's this other component too that I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was gonna be a preschool teacher forever. There's a component that can't believe all this is happening. I mean, I know I work really hard, but a lot of people work really hard. It doesn't guarantee success. It
Right.
just doesn't.
Right.
And so this is part of me that's like, how far can I take it? You know, like I'll do something. I'm like, really? Oh my gosh, that worked. Okay. Like,
Yeah,
so there's
like
this,
the bill that
you
was
know,
passed in New Jersey.
I
Yeah.
know.
Like
I
that's
mean, can you imagine
yeah.
a law? I have a whole law, the Budgetnista law,
Yeah.
making it mandatory to teach financial education
That's
to middle school
amazing.
students. I mean, so when my friend is an assemblywoman, And look how it all comes around full circle.
Mm.
Her name is Angela D. McKnight. I used to teach these classes at the United Way in Newark. She was working at the time, like a corporate job. She came to the class to learn how to get on financial track. It was a 6-week class. They came like every Tuesday. We became really friendly and cool. And then I do a lot of volunteer work. So I used to post on my social like, hey, collecting grocery cards for this family. Can anybody want to donate? Hey, I'm doing this. So she would pop in and be like, oh, sure, Tiffany, I got you. And so we just became cool. And then because of all of this kind of like work that she did in the community, someone said you should run for assemblywoman. And she was like, oh, I don't know, because she had a nonprofit called Angela Cares. And she said, I don't know. She ran and won. And then so first thing she did was hit me up. It was like, I want to affect kids in a positive way through some sort of education bill. What do you think? And I was like, well, absolutely. I think that there's a law in place, I know, for New Jersey for high school. But I really think it should start sooner. So we worked on the bill together, and she obviously did all the political components. And then I talked to the principals and the teachers, and those kind of stakeholders involved, because I'm like, look, I'm a teacher, so I can understand what the ramifications of this law is going to mean for you. So to get them on board, because you can't pass a law without getting stakeholders on board, and unanimously across Republicans, Democrats, everyone was like, absolutely, and passed it.
That's amazing.
And, yep. And so even under this current administration, everybody was like, I agree. So actually we're going back for elementary school soon, because I think it should start even earlier. But I share all that to say that, like, I don't know how far this thing can go.
Right.
And there's a curiosity in me to see. So that motivates me as well. So it's the service, and also to see just how far can I stretch? How far can I go? What am I capable of? I honestly have no idea. And so I want to see how far I can take it.
Please do. Please. Because I'm amazed. And I'm a fan.
Thanks, Natalie.
Yeah, of course. If we need to get in touch with you, if we want to be part of the Dream Catchers, you mentioned it earlier, but could you relay again where we would find that information online?
Sure. Yes. I am the Budgetnista on everything. I'm thebudgetnista.com. I am the Budgetnista on Instagram. I'm even the Budgetnista on TikTok, but not on TikTok. On Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. I have a lot of free resources. Like I have these literature challenges, which are a 3-week online course that are totally free. I've got 5 of them right now. So if you're needing to get on financial track and some hand holding, the teacher in me is always trying to make sure that I adhere to every type of learner. If you're someone who needs to meet in person with people, we've got the Dreamcatcher chapters all over the country, and they actually collectively meet up in person. But you'll find all of that on thebudgetnista.com. And I kind of want to share this. I forgot to share that I wrote my very first children's book.
Oh my gosh,
called Happy Birthday, Molly Moore. Because I was like, so many of us struggle now because of the lack of financial education that we received when we were younger. And so I wrote a financial children's book to help to kind of address that. And so you can even learn more about that at mollymore.com, and order yourself a copy, donate it to your kid's classroom. MALIMORE, mollymore.com.
That's awesome. Thank you so much again for coming on today and setting us straight.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I really appreciate the insights that you shared, and I hope that we can speak again soon.
Yes, this was awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mental Money Podcast. Please go ahead and remember to subscribe, but don't hoard all of this good information for yourself. Share this information with someone that you know could use it, especially if they need a shift in their mindset, or someone who would love to have more money. So until we meet again, remember, like Uncle Snoop said, keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind.